If you've got some webinars coming up that you'd like to promote with LinkedIn ads, in this video, we're going to talk about 4 unique ideas that you can leverage to drive more registrations. As a visual reference, I'll be using this article that our team member Alejandro wrote, so you can follow along with examples. So let's dive into it. First things first is you're going to want to leverage your thought leaders. Nothing sells like the speakers when it comes to any event for that matter, whether it's a webinar, a conference. The speakers sell the events. So if you can leverage the thought leaders that are attending, that they're speaking at the event, and you can have them post on their personal LinkedIn pages, and then you take that post and you promote it as a thought leader ad, that's really powerful. If you do decide to do that, make sure you have them embed in the post a link to the webinar page, so that way people can actually click through, because you can't add it after the fact as a thought leader ad. And you're going to want to make sure that they place the link higher in the post copy, and they should do it about 3 to 5 days after posting it organically, after the initial organic reach dies down, because having the link in the post typically makes the reach go down. So you want to do it after the shelf life of that organic post. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to partner with all of the speakers in the event and ask them to promote it on their personal pages, which most speakers do if they're speaking at an event. They want people to know about it. And then you're going to ask them to have it be a thought leader ad. So you would just grab a link to the post, request access to it, and then you can sponsor it as a thought leader ad. So here's an example from Do What Works. They are running a webinar with Amplitude, and in this case, their co-founder is the thought leader here, and he made this post talking about their partnership, and we can now take this post and then promote it as a thought leader ad to drive more webinar registrations. And the advice for the co-founder here would be to put the link in the post closer to the top. We have tested it, and if you have the link closer to the top, you drive more landing page clicks than if it's lower on the bottom. Kind of obvious, but it's cool seeing with some data behind it that it does have a significant impact. So definitely have it, just ideally below the see more button when they have to expand the LinkedIn post. So if you're not leveraging thought leader ads for webinar registrations, this is a massive opportunity. It could be images, it can be video, and it's a really great way for you to drive significant registrations for your event. All right, second thing is to boost high performing social media content. So essentially, if you have content that's already performing well for you organically, then that's an obvious thing for you to then just boost, extend the reach, and drive even more registrations with that piece of content. Oftentimes when we think about ads, we think from a different perspective than we do organic content. And good content is good content, whether it's an ad or not. And all the ad is going to do is it's going to guarantee distribution and visibility amongst the people that matter, assuming your targeting is correct. So here's like a very basic, simple example from Uberflip. They're promoting this webinar. They posted it to their LinkedIn company page. Now what you can do is you can take that same exact post and make sure that the people that need to see it, so you can drive even more registrations. This is really important, especially when you don't have a large following on your LinkedIn page, which most companies don't. And the reach on LinkedIn pages is typically not as good, which is also why we started with thought leader ads and personal page posts. But you can just take that post and you can distribute it. Also, the other advantage of doing this is because you already posted it organically, you've already accrued a certain amount of engagement, so likes, comments, shares. Now when you take that same post and you boost it as an ad, you have all of that organic engagement already on the ad, so it makes your offer more credible, more interesting to somebody who's seeing it in their feed because of the volume of interaction. So you have that social proof baked in, versus creating a new ad with the same asset and then starting from zero in terms of engagement. Okay, moving on. Number 3 is to create a LinkedIn event. So if you're not familiar, you can actually create events on LinkedIn, and then you could even use LinkedIn's ad type to promote your event, which is what you're seeing here. And this is a LinkedIn ad type to promote an event because you have the CTA button of view event, and then you can also see the event details here and the time of the event. So even if you're not hosting an event on LinkedIn, I highly recommend you create an actual event for the LinkedIn page, if you will, because it's going to allow you to accrue a lot of social proof and then be able to leverage this ad type. So from here, people can click through and actually go to your event page and then mark that they are attending. The really cool thing about this ad type too is it allows you to build a retargeting audience off of people who interacted with your events. So then you can then re-engage these people in the future by using the LinkedIn native event format. So if you haven't tried using this, I highly recommend it, especially because if you can get a lot of people to mark that they're attending to the event, it's really great social proof for you to see, oh, wow, we've got like 300 people who are saying they're going to join this webinar or this event. I should probably consider this. So really simple thing, and it doesn't cost any money for you to create the LinkedIn event, and it can be pretty powerful. All right, now finally, the fourth one here is to use incentives. This one's a little bit creative, and I know when we think of incentives, people often associate some sort of high intent offer like a demo request. But these are some pretty interesting examples of using incentives to drive more registrations. So for example, it can be a raffle. So you can have some sort of raffle. So if somebody joins in, like in this case for Zoom Info, they're promoting this webinar, and as like an incentive, they're having a raffle of an iPad, a pair of AirPods Max, and a pair of AirPod Pros to 3 random attendees. This is a really cool, interesting way of using incentives to drive more registrations. So they're raffling these AirPods if you join the event. So you're like, oh wow, like that's cool. Like I'm already interested in this topic, ideally, right? Because we want to create events in the first place on timely topics with relevant, associated to a relevant pain point. Assuming you have that, then now if you can offer an incentive, that's really powerful, because it's like, wow, I would have already wanted to join this webinar, but the fact that now just attending, I could win some AirPods, like amazing, and even if you don't need AirPods, it's just a cool little additional thing to be a part of, you could always give it to a friend or a family member as a gift. So this is a cool example of using incentives in a creative way. Another way you could use incentives instead of a raffle is you can say, for everyone that attends the webinar, the live webinar, we're going to be issuing them a $5 Starbucks gift card so they can have a coffee while attending the webinar, as an example. So these are 4 different ways that you can leverage LinkedIn ads, and some ideas for you to drive more webinar registrations. If you found this video valuable, if you can give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, that'd be super helpful to help us get our channel out there and grow, and subscribe for future videos around B2B advertising from Google, LinkedIn, and so on and so forth. And if you're a B2B marketer watching this and you want to expand your advertising skill set and you're not a part of AdConversion, come check us out at adconversion.com, and you can access all of our free on-demand courses. It takes less than 90 seconds to sign up, and we have tons of courses on the way, from Google ads to LinkedIn ads to Reddit ads, all around B2B, and really helping you understand how to scale pipeline and revenue. And if you wanted access to this article, I will link it in the description box down below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.